good.
Carrie, I gotta start with a story that you may or may not know, but we've gotten to know you a little bit better over the past year, and listening to your book, it really helps kind of feel like we get to know you a little bit. You started in network marketing in 1993. We were October of 92. So we're, the window is pretty close, of when we both started. And I know you had a couple different companies. We were just with the one, but here's the story. Here's a story I want to share with you. Our first meeting was in Orlando, November of 17 in Orlando. We had just enrolled. And the first time we were on stage was whenever the next event was. I don't remember if it was February or March, whatever it was. But I specifically remember as I was getting off the stage, this short blonde-haired lady got up off these white leather couches and met me at the end of the runway and said, "Hi, I'm Carrie Dickie. Welcome to LifeVantage. If you ever need anything, call me." And I didn't even know who you were. Obviously, April didn't know who you were, but getting to know you a little bit better over this past year or so, and now listening to your book, that is so you. That is just how you are, and that wasn't just a one-time thing. That is you. So for the folks listening, we have the privilege and honor of having who I believe is going to be the first Pro 12 in LifeVantage, and Carrie Dickie, and she's here to train us tonight and share her wisdom and just help us out with building our business. And I don't want to take any more time, Carrie, and you got all the time you want. It's all yours. So go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank you for telling that story. And, it's weird. I was talking this weekend to someone who's near and dear to my heart. And I was saying that I was definitely weird in this profession because I always wanted to build bridges. Even like cross-line bridges seemed like even more fun than bridges in my own organization and the organizations of which I was a part, because it seemed to me that you could learn so much more, that a rising tide raises all boats. And it just seemed that whenever I did, extend myself, thinking like today that I've come to give, I always get. And it's so weird. You just gave me something that has totally like blown up my heart in the first 30 seconds. It's just unbelievable. So that's a great place to start, Bob and April. And when you guys came in and all you achieved so fast, and bringing your beautiful team here, and who you were, and that you were authentic leaders who built from their hearts and who had experience in the profession, I just felt like, oh my gosh, we are so lucky. And I always want to make people feel welcome. That came from my mama, who, in a Rotary Club, everyone that walks through the door, Jane, my mom has to run and greet them and make them feel like they're her long lost friend. And it's sort of what I was raised with. And I don't know anything different. And it was hard. For years, I kind of got slammed for that. It's very interesting, and you guys will know what I mean. But I am delighted to be invited here today. I'm already sweating, a little bit nervous. I am. I can't believe I wore a turtleneck. But, whenever I do something like this, I always pray to touch one person. If I can, not two, but one. If I can touch one person, and if I forget to say that little prayer before I come on a call like this, I'm tongue-tied, it doesn't flow, because I didn't check in and remember what's the most important thing. And the most important thing when you are in my position or Bob and April's position and some of your positions, if you're leading anybody, if you've signed up one person, it's a massive responsibility to throw the ladder down and make it accessible for the people that are coming in alongside you and beside you. And I am the luckiest woman in the world. My team is so brilliant, as are so many other teams in the company, that I never use terms like upline and downline and You know, it's always my organization, my team, my friends. We are all in this together. So I'm delighted to have been invited here tonight. And I hope that something I say will resonate. And Bob just did what we need to do, and that is we need to tell stories. And I was so blessed recently. I mean, Kendra Hall spoke at one of our events, I want to say a couple of years ago. I can't hold a thought in a bucket, so I have no idea when she spoke. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, this girl is good. But I also know I'm super ADD and I am on the white couch and there's so much going on. And I'm like, I'm always by myself looking around, and I cannot stay focused. I can't to save my life. But somewhere along the way, I remembered Kendra Hall and I got her book, Stories That Stick. And this is not that long ago that I started reading it again, reading it to eat it, to take it bite by bite by bite, because there's one thing to read something and go, oh yeah, I read that book, which I of course did. And there's another thing to eat the book bite by bite by bite and to be able to share it with another. And the reason I've been sharing this book from my heart every day is because I don't ever want to forget what I learned here. And I just want it to get richer and richer and richer as I go. I built this business in the nooks and crannies of my life. Truly, I was crazy. I did work all the time, but I built it by telling stories. And I told people after they watched ABC, I still am mesmerized by the ABC primetime investigative report that aired back in 2005. I never became unenamored with that. To me, it is a miraculous piece. The first time I watched it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is network marketing gold. I mean, I watched it and I could not wait to get my hands on that product. I was shaking and I was 48 years old. I'm 59 now. I wished I had been taking that product. They said after taking Protandim for 30 days, they could no longer distinguish the blood of an 80-year-old versus that of a 20-year-old. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am 28.
You sound like April now.
That's me. I was like, I wish I had been taking this since I was 20. This is terrible. You know, I mean, I was freaking out. I had to get a hold of it. So I told I built this entire business, 22 months to Pro 10. No kidding. And I don't say that to boast or brag. It wasn't me. It was our team. It was energy. It was you catch yourself on fire with enthusiasm and the world will come from miles around to watch you burn. And April and Bob said they've been listening to my book. And I just remember somebody telling Wave, I remember the story of the campfire. And I live here in Southern California where we do have these campfires. And especially when you got little kids, everybody brings hot dogs and, you know, marshmallows or whatever. We go to the beach, we build this fire, and at 9:45, they literally come around and they say, 15 minutes till the beach closes. You got 15 minutes to gather yourselves and put the fire out. And everyone kind of looks and goes, yeah, I've got to cut it. Because all they have to do to put out that fire is pull the logs apart. And within 5 minutes, all you have to do is pull the logs apart and put some sand on them. The fire is out. But as long as those logs are all together in that fire, it's not out for hours. And even when the flames are gone, the embers continue on. Sometimes the more you want the fire out, because someone can walk along and get burned. That's how hot that fire burns. So the whole analogy is stay close to the fire. We do things in our business. We expose people to a tool, which is ABC Primetime Investigative Report, whatever you love, expose people to a tool. We promote from event to event, and we build community. Those are the three things we do: expose, promote, and build community. Expose and build community. And the better you are at those three things, and the more you do them, he who does exposing, promoting, and building community wins. And that's all we did. So I told the story, and I told everybody after I showed them the tool, I said, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you, and it's Zoom. It was in person. It was belly in a restaurant. It was at a Starbucks. I am going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you the product story. I'm going to tell you my story, really little. And then I'm going to tell you the residual income story, the leveraged income story. my company story, product, my story, the leveraged income story. Why do you think I leveraged income? Because I want to plant the seed right there that if they can fall in love with all of the other stories, if they can fall in love with the company story, the product story, my story, they can identify me as I build my bridge, then I can show them how to create leveraged income. And you can even say, I'm going to tell you the leveraged income story, the fact that the income can go on with or without your individual efforts. So pay close attention. I used to even say things like, if you in love with these products, I can help you retire. Well, we're not allowed to say that anymore. Builder, I can help you, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, because you have asked questions of the person sitting in front of you. You have connected. You know something about, you know that they do want to bring their husband home from work. Maybe you know that they do want to send their kids to a very expensive college. Maybe like me, that you know that this person wants to spend $2,200 a month to send the kid to private school. That was my why when I first got started with LifeVantage. I didn't have the story of Bob and April where I got in and had raging success and stayed with the company for decades. It was not like that for me. I did not make money forever. I have made every mistake in the book. I was a late bloomer. I did not have connections. I have no idea what made me stick around this crazy profession, because I was scared of my own shadow. But I've been with 4 companies, and I tell people it's kind of like real estate and mortgage. You may start with one company. You may start with Remax. You may end up going to Prudential a few years later. Maybe you end up with Century 21, and then you open your own company. It's just like that. You may take you a couple of times to find your home, but I want you to know, if you're here with LifeVantage and you're with April and Bob, you have arrived. You are at the best barbecue on the block. Don't go anywhere. This is what I was looking for the entire time. We used to talk about, we make people better, and in doing so, we make the world a better place. I've never told any other message. We make people better, and in doing so, we make the world a better place. So back to the original, I built my business by telling stories. I told my stories. I told other people's stories. I memorized stories. And I've been listening to Kendra Hall, and she says you can literally build a dynasty if you know enough stories. You hang on to the details of the story, and you hang on to the authentic emotion of every story that you tell. And she says that stories have 4 components. Number 1 is identifiable characters. Each and every one of you out there, you're an identifiable character. There are reasons why you are special. There are reasons why you said yes to LifeVantage. There are things you want here. You have a burning desire to succeed, or you wouldn't be on this call today. You have something you came for. You are an identifiable character, just like I was way back when I was dying to send my kid to private school. I had this kid with big giant gums. His teeth were all funky. He didn't fit in. He was so small for his age, and he was teased unmercifully. And I'm like, I am not putting my kid in regular middle school. I need my son to go to this private homeschool situation to get a good education without being distracted with all the cruelty that happens. Maybe I was just trying to be a helicopter mom. I don't know, but it was my passion. And I was going to make $2,200 a month that first month, because I wanted to send my kid to private school. Identifiable character. The next one is authentic emotion. Do you think I was passionate about that? I mean, I was so nervous. I remember what it was like to be in middle school. I was small for my age. I didn't really fit in. I thought I was stupid. When they put addition on the board, 1 + 1 is 2 and 2 + 2 is 4. I got it. I was smart, right? Then they did subtraction. 2 from 4 is 2. 4 from 6 is 2. I got that. But when they started taking the bigger numbers from the smaller ones, I was terrified. I didn't get it. How do you number from a small one? I didn't even listen. I just was like, you're stupid. You don't get this. Everybody else does. My eyes filled with tears. I had tears running down my face. That was me. I mean, I was the shyest person in the world. Why I would ever end up doing network marketing is beyond me. But that is authentic emotion. I had emotion about wanting to send my kid to private school. Identifiable characters, authentic emotion, a moment, a moment. My moment was I saw what was possible here at LifeVantage. I made $2,200 that first month, or maybe a little more. I earned I got 5 distributors and got myself an iPad. I said, can I get 5 more and get another iPad? And they said, sure. So I earned 2 iPads and a trip. And that was the beginning for me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Everything I've ever done, all of the mistakes I've made, they've led me to this moment in time where my preparation has matched opportunity, and it is my time. And that was my moment. There was a normal, a mom that has anxiety about her kid going to middle school. Then there was an event. Boom. I had an event. I saw what was possible. I went out and got 10 people, 2 iPads and a trip. And I had a new normal. Kendra Hall talks about identifiable characters, authentic emotion. She talks about the moment, and then she talks about supporting details. So when I tell the product story, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is activation versus supplementation. This is not taking a vitamin C or a vitamin E and neutralizing free radicals 1-to-1 like a Dixie cup of water on a house fire. This is like a fire hose in every room of the house. Your body is on fire with oxidative stress. The air we breathe, the water we drink, additives, preservatives, insecticides, fungicides, right? We're on fire with oxidative stress. And you're coming to the party with a Dixie cup, an acai berry or a blueberry, or a fire hose in every room of the house, the yellow pill. That was the moment, man. I tell that story and I start talking about the details. 5 plant ingredients, 1 place, 1 time. Make each ingredient 18 times more effective. It's an activator. It's not a supplement, it's an activator. So the supporting details are absolutely critical. The normal, the event, and the new normal. So when I was like, this is incredible. Our last Elite Academy, I drove over to Arizona and I was in a room with 30 leaders on Friday night. Like I said, I thought I was going to give. And it was just such a beautiful thing. I hadn't seen some of these people for so long. We're in the same room together. We're hugging, we're kissing, no masks anywhere, thank goodness. And it was just so bonding. And I thought, this is the time to tell stories. This is the time to put everybody in a room. We all got in the room, and several hours later, we had heard almost every story in the room. And it was incredible. I said, tell me your story. And some people would go off, and this is for you guys, seriously, you need to have your story super, super tight. Your story is the most important tool in your toolbox. It is the story that matters the most, because this is the story that you are going to use to ignite the passion of the person in front of you. And I don't care what your story is. You're going to look for common themes. When there's too much month at the end of the money, most people can identify with not having the money to get everything that they want, including a potential trip, right? Including anything. The people don't always have what they want. You can build a bridge by talking about too much month at the end of the money. You can build a bridge by not enough time to engage in what's really important in life, like sitting around BSing with a friend for hours, like having people over to you. I mean, we're all busy. We're less busy than we used to be, but we're still really, really, really busy. So I sat around and we talked and talked, and I had these people. I said, look, if it's not necessary to say it, then it's necessary not to say it. On my Monday call this morning, we had 3 people tell their stories, and there were times I had to stop them and say, you guys, remember, you are writing out all the details of your story, and then you are sharing it with another, and you're whittling it down to the most important details. The details that they have to be there, or the meaning of the story is lost. But women sometimes go around and around, and the men are like, oh my gosh, I just want to solve this problem for her. I want to solve the problem. But women are too busy going on and on and on. And someone like me, I'm kind of like a guy. Solve the problem. I want to fix it. I want to fix it, fix it, fix it. Tell me, tell me, tell me. So remember, if it's not necessary to say it as you prepare your story, it's necessary not to say it. So you want to get your story very concise. You want people to be listening to your story saying, I really identify with this. I identify with this girl. Like, my journey isn't exactly the same as hers, but whoa, I get her. I relate to what she's saying. This makes sense to me. Wow, I was broke too, or I am broke and I don't have enough, money to set aside to send my kid to private school, or I have something else I want and I don't have enough money to do that. So you guys, your story is the most important tool in your toolbox. Please, please, please remember that. And I have gone back even to Steve Five 2 weeks ago, and I said, I just need to talk to you. And I said to him, we have gone so far from our roots. We've gone so far away. We need to get back to the company story. We need to tell the story of how LifeVantage got on the map. How did we become a $200 million company? Why are we different? What makes us different than XYZ company and this company and that company? There are so many reasons. Let me give you an example. Think about this. Kendra Hall talks about a financial planner. Just imagine you're starting your financial planning business today, and you have to tell people via Zoom why you are such a special financial planner. What makes you different? How do you differentiate yourself from other financial planners? Well, there was a lady that said, let me tell you my story. She said, I was born, and I'm telling you, I popped out loving money. I don't know that I would admit that, but she did. I love money. I played with nickels. I played with dimes. I played with quarters. I loved the dollars. I was fascinated with money. I stacked it. I tracked it. I took it around the house. I played with it. I built things with it. She said, I loved money. And one day my mom was really concerned when I was about 4 years old, like, honey, you need to stop playing with money. And she said, well, why, Mom? And she said, because money is dirty. And she was like, oh, money is dirty. So she said, okay. So the next day, she goes outside, she gets a bucket, she fills it with water, she puts some soap in there, some dish soap, and she decides she's going to clean the money. And she cleans and cleans the dollars, the nickels, the dimes, the quarters, and she lays it out on the porch, and it all dries in the sun, and it's all beautiful and clean. She cleans up her mess, and she goes inside, and she's playing with the money, and her mom walks in and says, honey, I told you, money is dirty. Stop playing with the money. And she said, but Mom, I cleaned it. I got a bucket, I filled it with soap, and I cleaned the money. She said, it's the first time she said, I don't think I really understood the concept of money laundering. But she said she just loved money. And she said, and I promise you, I have always taken care of my money. I have grown my money. I have honored my money. And I promise to honor your money as well. I just gave myself goosebumps. Who wouldn't sign up with this woman, right? Who wouldn't want her to be the financial planner? So that's one story. She told another one of a woman who went to the Shark Tank, and she was selling the idea of baby moccasins. Well, I know what baby moccasins are today, but I can't imagine coming up with that idea and going to the sharks. Well, after she got done explanation on, the moccasins, the sharks were looking at each other and they were like, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. Are you going to do it? You guys probably have seen that show, and nobody was buying what she was selling until she told the founder's story. And I don't know what they said. Maybe they said to her, you know what, why don't you just tell us your story? Well, this was a mom from Utah. She was very broke, and she was a mother, a single mother. And she had this idea of baby moccasins. So one entire summer, she was so broke that she would take the glass, break the glass out of aluminum siding for an entire summer. We're talking like 3 months. Dangerous work, hot work in Utah. Very, very scary work. She threw away the glass and she kept the aluminum siding. At the end of the summer, she took it to a scrap yard where she got $200 cash for her first 3 pairs of moccasins. Now she's telling this to the sharks. You better believe those sharks were fighting to support her. They were throwing money at her. Why? Because if this woman was that committed to making 3 pair just to bring her idea forward, what else was she willing to do to be successful? They all fought for the contract. And at the end of the day, you can find baby moccasins in all department stores, including Nordstrom. This is what I'm talking about, you guys, being able to tell your story, to relate to the people sitting in front of you, listen to what they're saying to you, and figure out how to build a bridge. So I'm just going to tell you really quickly, Steve Fife the other day, I said, do you know our company story? And he said, I said, well, then let me tell you. I didn't even ask. I didn't even want to know because I wanted to tell him so badly. And this is my 2-minute company story. It's the story that I used to get to the top of this company. I'm not kidding. Well, I'm not at the top yet, but near. So I said to him, at the end of the clip, it used to say, for more information, go to abcnews.com. Well, everybody did. They emailed the company. They ordered the product. In fact, $5 million worth of orders came in the days and weeks following the airing of the clip. There was only one little problem, and that is that Joe McCord was a researcher and a scientist. He did not have a sales team. He did not have a marketing team. He was not Amazon.com with the headset ready to take your order and ship it. They did not have an infrastructure. It should have been the end of the story, but it was not. And why? Because people, by the way, the Oprah Winfrey people contacted Joe's office and said, we'd really like to get a hold of that doctor. We would like to have him as a guest. We would like to hear his story. Will you give us a call back? Well, they never heard from Joe. Why? Because he was a scientist. His only question was, who's Oprah? Seriously. But other people contacted Joe's office that day, researchers, scientists. They said, we know a little bit about oxidative stress. We want to know a lot more. Give us a call back. Put some product in our hands so we can initiate and fund our own studies. Studies were initiated and funded all around the country, all around the world. Places like University of Colorado, Denver, Denver Health Medical Center, universities of Florida, Kentucky, Louisiana State, even places in Wales, Sweden, the Czech Republic, and Mexico City. So today, and when I started 11 years ago, you can go to National Library of Medicine's website. When I started, I typed in oxidative stress. There were about 4,000 studies on oxidative stress today. I don't even remember how, 26,000 study or 200. You guys have to tell me. I can't even remember. My numbers are all off. 250,000 studies, something like that.
Yeah, something like 230. So yeah, it's
close.
Crazy. Not 20 to 26,000. When I started, there were a few thousand on oxidative stress and the C word. I never ever say. I always talk about issues. We're not allowed to make any claims whatsoever. But I'm just saying, all you have to do is type in oxidative stress. You can read for the rest of your life on why you want to reduce it. And wouldn't that be fun, right? So anyway, back to the story. They knew they were onto something. They were having some incredible anecdotal evidence. And finally, they're like, how are we going to get this out to the people? We are having some amazing stories, but how do we do this? So they put it back online. That didn't work. They put it in retail outlets like GNC, CVS, and Rite Aid. Sold a half a bottle per store per month for 4 years. Finally, a consultant was hired, took one look at the ABC primetime, and he said, oh my gosh, this is astounding. But of course, it's a story that has to be told. I recommend person-to-person distribution, word-of-mouth advertising, most powerful form of advertising in the world. And that's where we went, man. Back in May of 2009, the company went from 0 to 39 million to 126.2 million to $200 million. And that is our company story. That is how we went from small to bigger. And I believe we're going to go from big to lots bigger. We've got to get back to our roots. We've got to tell our product story, our company story. We have to tell our own story really tight. If it's necessary, not necessary to say it, necessary not to say it. And we have to offer the leveraged income. To this day, I talk about the fact that I was a fitness instructor and bartender and a waitress, and I loved health with all my heart, but there was no money in it. I couldn't figure out how to make money in health. One day I fell and pulled a quad muscle. I was out of a job overnight. Couldn't wait tables, could not bartend, could not be a fitness instructor. I was a college graduate that had no idea what I did want to do. I only knew what I didn't want to do. I followed an ad. You know, I'm an older woman now, 59. I followed an ad in the paper that said, "Do you love kids? Do you love to read?" I said, "Heck yeah, I love to read. I love kids." I ended up showing up in an interview with a whole bunch of other people, and all 35 of us were hired. And I sold books door to door. And I'm telling you, I understood leveraged income. I understood linear income, work a day, get paid, work a day, get paid. You can't work, you don't get paid. And I didn't understand leveraged income, but I showed up, started selling educational materials door to door, and they talked about the 80-20 rule. And everything you do will teach you if you are open to it. And I figured I heard that 80% of the people do 20% of the work and 20 do 80. And then there are the 1%ers. And I knew I wasn't a 1%er, but I wanted to be one. I burned to be one. I yearned. I was like, I know there's something inside of me stirring right now. So when I saw network marketing a couple of years later, when someone showed up at the door to talk to my husband, who left, walked out the door and left me there, didn't tell me anybody was coming, but I had him in. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry he's not here. Please tell me all about it." And at the end of 30 minutes, I said, "Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that if someone sells a product in Kentucky or Louisiana, I get paid?" He said, "That's exactly what I'm telling you." And I said, "Well, then sign me up." And my husband came home at the time. I said, "Honey, we got a new business." He didn't give a hoot about it, but I knew I wanted to be a 1%er. I certainly couldn't do it being a fitness instructor or a bartender selling books door to door. But when I heard the idea of leveraged income through building a network, my antenna went so high. And I said, I am going to die trying. I will do this or die trying. So you guys, it all comes down to you and your passion, your enthusiasm, your ability to tell a rockin' story. And you have people that will help you, even if they're friends. You can go to your mother, your sister, your neighbor and say, "May I share my story with you? And will you help me figure out what parts are important and what parts aren't important?" You could do it with your sponsor. You could do it with your crossline. We are doing it and doing it and doing it again. And your story will change over the years. Your whys will change. Your reasons will change. My reasons are completely different today than they were when I started. But I will tell you, it's today the 28th or the 29th. Oh my gosh, we're close. 29.
Yep.
29. This is such a great time, especially now that we have the 500. Oh my gosh, we had this when I started. I would go to my report. I would look line by line by line at anybody who had 3 customers or anybody that had 2 customers. And I'd tell them, "Listen, 3 more and you are in the pool. 2 more and you are in the pool. Don't let this opportunity pass you. Got to get this done. I believe in you. Who can we call together?" I speak Spanish sometimes, so juntos. Who can we call together? This is the time to really look. And we used to create thousands of dollars at the end of the month when we had this bonus. And I'm so grateful that it's back. And I really urge you to think of that fire. I did not have a lot of confidence. I really didn't. I didn't have a lot of skills, but I had a lot of passion. And like I said, catch yourself on fire with enthusiasm and the world will come from miles around to watch you burn. It starts with your passion for what you have. I mean, I remember we had a COO at the time. His name was Kirby Zenger, and he used to say, "Yeah, when you go to a meeting, if you don't join Carrie's group, it's like you have a big L on your forehead, loser." And it made me laugh because I didn't feel that way, that someone was a loser if they didn't join. But that was a perception. Like, I'm going. This is A, Z is over there, and I'm going from A to Z. And any of you people can go with me and I will help you. But I'm going from A to Z and I'm going that way. And so get in or get out of my way. I'm not kidding. And I didn't mean it mean. I'll come back for you. But this is A and I'm going to Z. And I don't ever want you to say that I didn't offer it, because I know where this is going and I want you to be a part of it. And I want you to run with me. I want you to hold my hand and come, but I cannot carry, you can carry one person maybe on your back, but beyond that, forget about it. You can only inspire. So I'm going to ask these guys what, April and Bob, what else? But I want to say this. If you are informing and educating, yuck. Information and education, it does not sell. Inspiring, motivating, igniting. We want to ignite and excite people to go after what it is in their lives that they don't have, because you have a tool. You have a gift in your hand, right? If they have the nail, you got the hammer, but you have to offer it. And you got to offer it in a way that they can eat it. So it's got to be tied to their why, what they don't have that they want. Dale Carnegie in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, says, bait the hook to suit the fish. Bait the hook to suit the fish. My kids used to fish on the end of the San Clemente Pier, and they did not use Oreo cookies because fish don't like those. They used bits of smaller fish and they used worms, and it worked every time because that's what fish like. So as you go after a little fish or a big fish, and for goodness sake, please go up on the food chain. Go to people that are more successful than you, that have had more opportunities than you, that are making more money than you, because the reason they're there is because they're open. That's usually how it works. And do not be attached to the result. Share every day with love in your heart, with no attachment to what comes, with the outcome. Do what you do every day. Don't be attached to the outcome. Move through the numbers and just catch yourself on fire. So Bob and April, what else can I offer? I hope that there was some, it's like all over the board, but that's kind of how I do it.
No, super amazing. And you always bring so much energy and passion. And, those that know us, we have talked about benefits and not ingredients. And it's so refreshing to hear you reconfirm. You've said it in a different way, which was so awesome. And really, we've been listening to your book. We're bicyclists also. We love to ride our bikes, and that's where we do a lot of this audible. Get the book, guys. Listen to it. You make such great analogies in there that make, this network marketing be a professional career. And I love your coffee story. I mean, there are just so many great analogies to make you feel super excited about. And what a great way to start the day. Start your day with a few minutes of her book, and you'll know what your mission is that day. And hopefully you'll get some of her. You can't not get some of her passion and energy. You can steal some of it from her if you start the day listening to her book. A lot of great analogies in that book. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Carrie, would you?
Can I say this? I was just going to say this real quick. That book was totally given to me. I do not take credit for it. I sat down. I was the scribe. I wrote every day from November 3rd to February 26th. I literally followed orders, but I read it now and I do not remember writing those words. I remember sitting down, but I'm telling you, I feel like it came through me. It's not mine. And I like it. I still love it. Network marketing.
Would you there's people on here that have been here they're brand new. There's some new platinums here. There's people that have been around for years. We've often said excitement and enthusiasm overrules everything. It just makes up for every deficiency that you may have. Do you have anything to add to that or share with that?
I do. I'm always so grateful when something just drops in. Yes, I do. And the competence ladder, when you first get into this business, you may be brand new, and literally we are like, we're on fire with enthusiasm, but sometimes we're a little crazy, and sometimes we're ignorance on fire is the way to say it. And we are an unconscious incompetent. We don't know that we don't know. We just go out there, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden we're like, whoa, when we don't get the response we want, we're like, uh-oh, I'm not getting the response I want. I'm no good at this. I need to quit. Seriously, your new people are going to experience this. They're going to be like, uh-oh, I used to not know I'm no good, but now I got started and now I know I'm no good and I got to get out. This is the time to let them know, no. You're an unconscious incompetent, but guess what? We are going to show you, and this is why it's so important to take people by the hand and really do it with them. Let them observe you. So you become then a conscious competent. Like, I'm learning. We want to move people to, I'm conscious that I'm becoming conscious and I know what to do. I'm learning. And there comes a point. So unconscious incompetent, then you become a conscious competent. Then you are an unconscious competent, meaning I don't even know what I do, or a conscious competent. Sorry. It's in my book. And then you become, you literally don't even know how you do it. You just do it every day. It's so part of who you are. That's our goal, is to move our people to be that. But until you've got to go through the process. It's like anything else. You know, it's a skill. These are skills. You got to stick with it and be close to the fire. I don't even know if I answered that at all. But anyway, I tried.
You were great. And one last thing before we let you go. How important is third-party validation with new people?
You know what? It's everything. It's absolutely everything. The people that have grown the fastest in my business, including the leaders, are the ones that are willing to really, really reach out. We were talking about that on the call this morning. You know, in the beginning, you use third party all the time. In fact, you're on the call mostly with your upline or your sideline, crossline friend. And as you go, you can do a little bit more of the heavy lifting, but there's never a time that you do not use third party. Never. I never bring anybody into this business that I don't connect them with 2 or 3 people, even if all I'm doing is saying, I really want you to meet a couple people in the business. Because they're going to make a connection in that, like, oh my gosh, I don't have to know all the answers to these questions. All I have to do, all 90% of the questions that are ever going to come up will come up in the first 45 days in business. 90% of them. So if you're there helping your new person answer, then 45 days later, all 90% are going to be answered. And the last 10%, we can take care of that. It's okay to say, I don't know. Let's grab somebody that can help us. If you use third party, the person that you're talking with will say, oh my gosh, that person just helped Terry. Maybe that person will help me too. Everybody wants to be in business for themselves, but not by themselves. We need to show the community. People do not want to work in a vacuum. They want to be supported. They want to be a part of something bigger. In fact, so many people join this business just to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Truly.
Awesome.
Carrie, you're incredible. We're so glad that we have a relationship with you. Would you tell everybody the name of your book and where they can get it?
Yes, I will. Network Marketing, The View from Venus. And it's Amazon, and I've read it on Audible. And I'll tell you,
the Audible is great because we're bike riders. Audible is everything to us. So
yes,
and Carrie reads it. You don't have someone else reading it. It's actually you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, I did not write that. Let me tell you, you don't make $1 million on Amazon. That's not why I did it. But people would come through town, or they would say, oh my gosh, I just wish I could have a few minutes. I wish I could pick your brain. You know, there's only so much in a person's network marketing brain. Like, I love when we had Eric Worre the first time. I don't think we need him 90 times. I love when we have Kendall Hall. I don't think we need her 90 times.
I agree.
I don't think you need Carrie Dickie 90 times. You just need, you know, and so I wanted to have it for people. Here you go. There's nothing left in this frame. This is what I got. And if you want something different, then you go to Bob and April, and you're going to get you're going to get a lot of the same themes, but it's in the way it's presented. So anyway, I don't know.
Carrie, you're fabulous. Thank you so much for doing this. And you know, we're happy to reciprocate anytime you want anything.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Thank you all for listening. I'm very, very grateful. And I look forward to seeing you potentially at our next convention. Is that the 15th or the 7th? Does anybody know of October?
I just know it's October. I didn't know, I don't know the date. So
But
anyway,
try to
thanks
grab
a
that date.
million, and God bless you, Carrie. We really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thank you. It
Bye-bye.
was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We're
Good
all
night.
set. I'm not going to say anything else after Carrie. We are done. Carrie has finished the show. And you guys know how to reach us if you need us. So long, everybody.